Alright, first off, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Shalom to the brothers in the highways and byways pushing this word in all sincerity and truth. The sisters, the believers, the helps, the hopeful elect. Shalom. This is the brother Iram from James Jamaica camp. Coming to another quick lesson. And, was just here and saying that, look, it's been I need to do a lesson. And I was like, you know what, I don't have anything in particular in mind. Maybe I'll just do a impromptu, and then as I usually just find something to read, and then if the spirit hits me, then I do a lesson. And as I open the app, the BLB app right here, this precept was up, and I'd pretty much read from verse 6 Salakia to verse 10, and the spirit just started to sup with me. So I decided that I'll just do these lessons so like for the long breakdown, or the rambling as it is. Right. So I'm just gonna go through, and then as the precepts speak, I'll hopefully this is edifying. So this is First Timothy 6 verse 6. It says, but godliness with contentment is great gain. And we're just gonna check on these two words right here. We're going to check on the word godliness, right? Reverence, respect, piety towards God, right? And let me check something real quickly. Let me look up that word. I don't think I spelled it properly. Bear with me, so okay. Right, it says the quality or state of being pious, fidelity to natural obligations, dutifulness in religion, devotedness, right, or devoutness. So definitely, it says godliness with contentment is great gain. So being devout or devoted to Yahweh Shemel Shai, with contentment is great gain. So let's look on the word. Now that we have an idea, another word for godliness, let's look on the word contentment. Right? It says a perfect condition of life in which no aid or support is needed, sufficiency of necessities of life, a mind contented with its lot, contentment. All right. So let's look on the first two. Right, a condition of life in which no aid or support is needed. Hey, brothers are struggling. Some brothers are struggling, financially. You have some brothers who, and in varying degrees, some brothers struggle more than others as it pertains to finances. So what I many times you have brothers tell videos go out about brothers, ensure that they are working, ensure that they have their own space. Imagine ensure that they they get themselves a car, or have a business, ensure that they're they're actually doing something, they have a hustle, they're actually having income, right? And the reason why that those lessons get done is not from a standpoint of brothers being rich in this society or wealthy, right? It's about using the world and not abusing it. To what end? To this end, where hey, economy is getting worse by the day and all of that. We get all of that, right? But ultimately it's about maintaining our households, maintaining ourselves, and depending on whatever lot the Lord has given unto us, build us up to a place where we can also aid brothers and get brothers up to that point as well. Because being devoted to Yahweh Shem Yahushai and being able to maintain ourselves, pretty much not needing much aid and support, and this chapter is more about money. So it's from a financial standpoint. It says what? Sufficiency of the necessities of life. So you can pay your bills, you can buy your food, you're maintaining your household, you can get around, whether you have a vehicle or you are earning to the point where you can transport, you can traverse as you need to, these type of things, right? Devoted to the Yahweh Shem Yahshai and being in such a state is great gain. Now, if you get a little extra, or if if it's a case that you land a job or you're doing a hustle that brings in a certain amount of money, and you it's more than the average, and the Lord bless you that way, then fine, and you bless brothers, then fine. But it's not about aiming to be a millionaire or a gazillionaire. If it happens and the Lord bless you, then hey, fine. But the aim is to about being balanced, about being able to maintain ourselves while doing this ministry, while being devoted to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, and that makes it easier to, attend upon Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai without distraction. That way you aren't, you won't feel burnout as much, meaning that, you don't have to slave away for little and nothing, or peanuts, or you're not constantly thinking about this bill or that bill, or this loan or that loan. As I said, everybody's situation is different, but there's a balance to it. So it's about being devoted, and doing our duties within this ministry while being able to sustain and maintain ourselves, right? So I'll read verse 6 again. It says, but godliness with contentment is great gain, right? It says, for we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. Yeah, so, being mindful of our lot, right? It says, and having food and raiment, let us therewith be content. And, I remember, a while back, I was in a situation where I was, talking to our brother, and I was saying, sometimes I think about, um, buying some clothes, or getting some new clothes and thing, and sometimes I'm wondering if it's a case that I'm trying to show out, and it's like, bro, you know, remember the scriptures. I don't know what I was thinking. I guess I was just being simple. It's like, bro, come on, clothes is a necessity. It's not like you're gonna go out there and buy $1,000 jeans or $1,000 jacket, or you're going for the Louis Vuitton and the big brands or whatever. You just being I think the term that he used was fiscally adept, or something along those lines. I can't remember the term, but it's like, yeah, these things, having a car is not in every case it's about luxury or being flashy. In some cases it's a necessity. It's not the big thing. Now, if it's a case that you're trying to get the new Bugatti, or a Lamborghini, or what, going up in those high end, then that's one thing, because you want to look. But if you need something to get you through, or get you by day, there's nothing wrong with that. And I had to really process that, and I was like, yeah, you're right, because scripture says, this scripture came to mind. And I know brothers who are struggling with their jobs. I know brothers who are trying to get a balance, get balance within certain situations. And I know some brothers who have a mindset of not wanting to do certain things because they think that it will be going off. And many times brothers do videos saying that, look, we're not bumps. We groom ourselves. We buy clothes. We carry ourselves a certain ways, not because we're suffering, not because we're in Babylon, not because the curses are upon us and this place is polluted. Doesn't mean that you're just gonna leave off all care of yourself and of your household. It doesn't mean that you're not gonna put things within the right perspective, right? And there's a balance to it, which that the scripture actually puts great balance to it, right? Verse 9, it says, but they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. So let me get this word rich and temptation. Maybe maybe a lot of these words. Let me just see where the spirit leads. Right, so this is the word rich. It says to be rich, to have abundance, outward possessions. So it's not about getting a truckload of clothes, or a mansion and whips and all of that, and being, having outward possessions like that, to say, just having a lot of shit to say that, you're getting rich, and you're just hoarding things onto yourself, right? That's the mindset of being rich, right? It says is affluent in resources so that he can give blessings of salvation to all, right? So it's not a case where you're gonna strive to be a millionaire or a billionaire. I mean, as I said, if it comes, it comes. But like, you know, the whole aim is not about that. It's about maintaining and sustaining. But this is showing you what it means by to be rich. You just want to have things, or the new this came out, you want to get it. The new that came out, I want to get it. Or I want to get this, or I want to do this, I want to do that. All of that is tied to what the lust of the flesh and the pride of life. You know, and it's going to go on and explain it, because it says what will fall into temptations. Now let's look on this word temptation, right? And I'll jump down to B, where it says the trial of man's fidelity or faith, integrity, virtue, and constancy. And a lot of times while people get into debt is because they try to live above their means. They try to go above that which they have been given, the lot, as it says in contentment, about living in according to the lot that has been dealt. A lot of men try to, or a lot of people, especially here in Babylon, where they try to, we tend to try to live above our means. This is how Esau, Edom, advertise certain things, right? But that cause is what? Debt. And then you next thing you know, this is happening, that is happening, you know and a whole lot of things just come tumbling down, right? So, and then it caused some men to actually want to do things that are, in this world. You have people that steal, you have people that scam, you have people that rob, you have people that do all type of think people that sell themselves literally, you know and do a mirage, a whole heap of wickedness, just to get out of that hole, while pretty much gaining the world and losing their souls, giving up a lot and doing a lot of wicked shit, just to for money, ultimately, right? B1 says an enticement to sin, temptation, whether arising from the desires or from outward circumstances. And desiring, that abundance, those possessions, the women, the high end cars, the high end clothes, just wanting to have, the kingdom on this side, and thinking that all is going to work out on this side. It's a big trap, spiritually, right? um 2 says an internal temptation to sin. A says of the 2a says of the temptation by which the devil sought to divert Yahushua the Messiah from the divine errand. Just like in the devil tried to tempt Yahushua. I'll give you showed him the world in a glimpse, and said all these things will be thine if they worship me. And the devil is doing that, to the majority, even to us. They try to tempt us, because these ads and the music and the whole being in Babylon, a lot of things try to get our attention and try to divert us from Yahweh Shem Shai. So even now, that is still a tactic that the devil uses, right? 3 says of the conditions of things, right? So it can be a particular condition, being broke for what we say to being down and out for too long, being broke for months, to the point where it's like, yo, I have to do something, you know or some there are times when the devil will come and say, look, you're down for so long, you don't have money so long, you're always gonna have to ask a brother for this, or you're gonna always have to ask a brother for that. That pride demon that even recently Apostle Rakar brought up, saying that there's some men within the truth that have pride because they're in particular situations and they don't want to say anything, because they're gonna feel bad, or it's gonna make them lose faith, and That's a temptation that even I myself have been through already. So I it's definitely a demon that you have to just rebuke. So it's something that understandably, as a man, it kind of hits hard when you're down. But we if you have faith in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, then we just have to endure and keep doing our best first spiritually, and then afterwards, everything which we try to build, and the Lord in due time will deliver. But the ultimate deliverance definitely is about the kingdom, right? Right, it says, of the condition of things, or a mental state by which we are enticed to sin, or to a lapse from the faith and holiness. And that's the thing, with those also, you start to spend so much time at work where when you come in, you're so tired, it's hard for you to read, it's hard for you to do a lesson. It's hard for you to some brothers, or some men might find it hard to start coming to the camp, you know, so on and so forth. Or I got to do this to get that money. I got to do that to get this money. You know, I got to do this to fix that problem. And as time and time goes by, less and less effort is being put into praying, into doing the lessons, into coming to camp and attending to the ministry of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. That level of being of devoutness, you know, are doing our duty towards Yahweh Hashem Yahushai gets less and less and less till they eventually fall out. A lot of men fall out the truth based upon that. A lot of men's spirits, have been dimmed by that. And if you feel like you're in that situation, speaking to myself first and foremost, if you ever feel like you're in that situation, pray to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai to remove that spirit from you, because it's something that is out here, especially within these last days, as I said, the economy is going to smack. It's getting ready to get worse and worse. So be mindful of that spirit. All right. 4 says, adversity, affliction, trouble sent by the Most High and serving to test or prove one's character, faith, holiness. Exactly. Wanting to the Lord may find get to a situation where you're earning. Let's say that you think that in your mind the ideal thing is to earn $10 a month, right? Just saying, just using a random figure to keep it simple. Let's say that your ideal figure to having a balanced life in your head is $10 a month. The Lord may put you in a situation where you earn 8 or 7, and then some men or some people they get the 7, and instead of being, at first they were getting 2, and then they get the 7, but they're saying that, look, the 7 isn't bringing me to the point where I want to be. So it's like they don't look on the blessing that Yahweh Hashem has given, and doesn't look on the lot that, look, you're way better than you were yesterday. Just order these things are right, and work with this, and be humble. Then it works out. Then you realize that that this was all you need, and or if it may be just another test to see if you're not ready for that 10 as yet. So you have to learn to work with the 7 until it's time for the Lord to give you that 10, or whatever the case may be. But guess what? They tend to say, look, you know what? If it's not the 10, I don't want it, and they cast the 7 aside, and they're in that situation over and over. And then when the 10 doesn't come, they're saying that, look, you know what? This isn't working out, or I got to do something, so on and so forth, and they just fall away. As I said, it's a very tempting thing. It's a very, very thing that you have to be careful. We have to be careful with, right? C says, temptation, a trial of God, but hold on, that is trial, right? No, let me just leave that one. That doesn't tie into what I'm breaking down. So, right, this is the word snare as well. Trap. Right. A says, of snares in which birds are entangled and caught, implies unexpectedly, suddenly, because birds and beasts are caught unawares. right? So it's something that will happen that you're not even aware of it. Things be so draining and heavy of late that the time goes by and that you don't even realize how it's like you're in a sunken place. By then it's too late, right? It says the allurements and the seductions of sin. The allurements of sin by which the devil holds one bound, right? So that was snare. We're going to look on hurtful, injurious. All right. So let me just read back verse 9 again. It says, but they that will be rich fall into temptation and snare, and in many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. Yeah. So when they say more money, more problems, but really the scripture and there's a scripture in the apocrypha that tells you that the eye is evil, and everything that it sees it pretty much wants. So when you have the money, and you have it's like you have no restrictions, as the word rich goes into the abundance, to actually to want, to not want, right? So you just go ahead and you get and you get and you get and you try to satisfy the eyes, to the point where it takes you to a completely different place. It brings you so far gone, right? So and it can be a thing where you know it just, you get a situation where you end up dead, or in a worse situation than you were even before you had the money, or it brings you down the path with some people where it's horrible. I've Hey, look at these entertainers. Look at these entertainers. They're high on drugs. You hear about how they've been sodomized. They hear about the MK Ultra. You hear about the barrage of things. We see it with the stars all the time, and these entertainers all the time, of how it seems as if they have a lot of money, when the truth in fact they're broke, both spiritually and carnally. Most of the time they're in a lot of debt. They're in a lot of messed up situations. They can't keep their families together. They're just a complete wreck. Why? Because of the hurtful lust that came with being rich, right? Verse 10 says, for the love of money is the root of all evil, and while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith, and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. So there's a balance. We have to be careful. We have to be careful, right? Chief of all things is to be, as it says, let me read verse 6 again. It says, but godliness, being devoted to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, doing your lessons, checking on brothers, fasting, praying, going out on the highways and on edges, um being productive within the ministry, you know with contentment, meaning that you have the necessities of life. You can clothe yourself, feed yourself. You have a roof over your head, your bills are paid, your household is being maintained. You know, and your necessities are being covered and taken care of. That is great gain. That is great gain. Don't be tricked by social media and on things that you see on the TV of people doing it, and you want, oh, I want to do this, or if I gotta do that, or you chase those things, and you realize that, look, it's not, one, it's not all that it cracks up to be, and two, there's a lot of deception and lies and propaganda and witchcraft and madness behind all of that. Not to say that if you can, hey, once again, if you can, and covering the necessities doesn't mean that you just pay your bills. You may be able to afford to go on a trip. You, from time to time, you have enough where your bills are covered, and you can you know ex- enjoy a few recreational activities, based on how much the Lord bless you with, or how much over the necessities the Lord bless you with. So not telling brothers not to do things, but I'm just saying that don't buy into the hype of this rich life. That this balling and this whole, I am the man in this society. There's a balance to it. All right. So Hope this was edifying. Don't want to ramble too much. And once more, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, Bashem Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Shalom to the brides and highways and byways pushing this word now, sincerity and truth. The sisters, the believers, the hubs, the hopeful elect. Shalom.